Thank you very much. Actually, I've been an active member of the Green Party since 1993 federally, so you've had the gamut of political spectrum tonight. I'm going to talk to you about small water systems tonight. In my opinion, we've not done a good job of designing regulations and implementing them around small water systems. I don't want to put that in a context for you. The area I represent, North Kootenay Lake, there are 1,400 people scattered across 5,700 square kilometers, roughly 0.8 people per square kilometer. There are 88 electoral areas like John and mine and 2 municipal districts in this province where the population is less than 1 person per square kilometer. Ron's Health Authority is responsible for 1,900 water systems. 1,100 of those have 13 or less connections. And in fact, when you look at the building permits that are issued in the 3 regional districts in southeast British Columbia for the last decade, they are for subdivisions of 9 or fewer lots, 94% of the time over the last decade. So what I want to do is tonight begin by sharing with you some of the ways in which the guidelines are set in Canada for drinking water. What I'm going to read to you from is the Guideline for Canadian Drinking Water Quality, Supporting Documentation for Enteric Viruses. This was prepared by the Federal Provincial Territorial Committee on Drinking Water of the Federal Provincial Territorial Committee on Health and Environment. Quite a long word, but it ties us and the Fed here in British Columbia together. This was put out by Health Canada in 2004. So let's turn to page 10 of this document. As a result of its high level of resistance to UV treatment, the adenovirus is being considered by the US EPA as the basis for establishing UV light inactivation requirements for enteric viruses. IHA operates on a 43210 reduction in disease. The 4 log stands for viruses. So let's go to page 15 of this document and find out what the adenovirus is. It causes respiratory and gastrointestinal illness, mainly in young children, has an incubation period of 1 to 3 days. Symptoms include diarrhea and vomiting. It's transmitted directly by fecal oral route or through recreational water, but drinking water has not been reported as a route of transition. In fact, this document reports that between 74 and 95, there were 21 reported outbreaks of enteric viruses and 1,358 confirmed cases of waterborne illness. But again, on page 16, it says the adenovirus did not cause any drinking water outbreaks in Canada. So why would you set a standard for a virus that doesn't occur in drinking water, for drinking water? We have to do a better job of designing and setting our drinking water guidelines based on what I read in our own documents. But I do want to end tonight with a good news story. Since 2005, this province has allowed individuals on small systems to use point of entry, provided it makes the water potable. It relieves the water purveyor or the water system of being responsible and makes the individual responsible for providing their own water, which makes a lot of sense if you understand that very small systems are not legally organized. They are usually a collection of neighbors, friends, individuals. So it makes sense that you let the individual household in very small systems treat their water. The problem is, until recently, we couldn't agree on how that should happen. I've been responsible and working with the people in Johnson's Landing to rebuild their water system. And so in February of this year, I received a letter from someone in IHA saying, this is how you would have to do this operationally if you want to use POE. Took this letter to a lawyer through the regional district who disagreed with the implementation, May 29th, I had a meeting with the head of the IHA's health protection branch and said, you know, there's two things going to happen here. We're either going to end up going to court, asking the BC Supreme Court to give us a reference on how this regulation is going to operate, or we're going to sit down and negotiate an agreement for the people of Johnson's Landing on how they're going to treat their water using POE, which is what they want to use. Well, I'm very happy to tell you tonight that on September 5th, a 6-point agreement was reached between an environmental health officer and the people in Johnson's Landing. And 5 days later, they agreed on a report form. And so we now have a way for people in British Columbia to use point of entry in very small systems that works for them. And I'll tell you what the cost difference is. Right now, we think it's going to cost $20,000 per connection to rebuild the water system in Johnson's Landing and put treatment in. But if we used a centralized treatment system, it would cost them over $33,000. So we've cut $13,000 off the price. I still think it's way too high, but I think if the federal Liberals, if they get back into government, want to do something for people across this country, they need to begin to help us design regulations that work for rural people. Because we very often, on our small mountain streams, don't have human fecal contamination. So don't set standards to deal with that when we don't have to. Thank you very much.